Hi, my GST name is Corolla Cunningham, and I was blessed enough to be part of the NiGiNan growth at the very beginning in 2014. And now here we are, 10 years later.
My ex left me, and we have a little girl together, and she left me, so that kind of killed me. Like, I loved my little girl, I was close to her, and that, and so I went on binge for a few years after that. I still never recovered. I was always working in that, and when that happened, I just gave up. I gave up on life. I wanted to commit suicide. You don't know how many times I've crossed the bridges thinking, should I jump now? Should I jump? Or should I jump in front of the bus? Or should I jump in front of the LRT? And sometimes I just wanted to, get it over with. I was very depressed. I'm still working on that. I haven't seen my little girl for about 4 or 5 years now, so.
I had to learn how to walk again and, have to go on oxygen. So, I felt like I was 25 going out to 65. I hate going downtown because right now I just feel like it's just like zombie land. It's just getting so, not so bad, but, like the addictions and the drugs they're just getting worse and worse. And, people are losing their families, they're losing their friends, they're losing their children. And I'm grateful for, this place, because regardless of losses, there are people that carry it up that don't want to see that happening. But how can you stop it though? I can tell you right off my hands, 10 people that I've lost in the last year and a half, just to the drugs, including family, including siblings. And, it's a terrible thing.
Saudi Arabia, Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Well, spent 5 months over there. I lost a couple buddies over there. They came over a couple weeks after I did. It kind of fucked up my marriage with Michelle. And she ended up divorcing me when I returned. Didn't last more than 2 months. My alcoholism got much worse. Well, I lived on the street. There was a lady named Annabelle. We weren't married, but we were common law. We lived on the street for 10 years with her. It's freezing cold, much colder than it is now. Annabelle, she showed me how to live out there, And Annabelle, she passed away in my apartment.
Imagine having to live on the streets, to have nowhere to go. Far too many of that is a reality in Edmonton. Houselessness has more than doubled, deaths have skyrocketed, and no other population has been more affected than our Indigenous community. That's where NiGiNan comes in. With viable and effective solutions, NiGiNan Housing Ventures is an Indigenous-led registered charity here in Edmonton, Alberta, that was formed to address the particular needs of people with complex medical, social, and housing needs.
So the board was formed in 2004, and it took 10 years for Ambrose Place to even open. due to issues with finding funding and different barriers and different things that happened throughout those 10 years in order to get Ambrose Place even opened. So to be open for 10 years now, it's such a celebration of all the work that everybody in the past 20 years has done. So even though Ambrose Place is 10 years, NiGiNan Housing Ventures is celebrating their 20th year. So in NiGiNan Housing Ventures, we have our 4 core program areas. We have our healthcare program, our cultural program, our housing program, and we have our food program, which is providing 3 meals a day and also ensuring that we have proper feasts for all of our ceremony. So within those 4 programs, you know, we're doing our best to ensure every single resident, no matter what their need is, that it's being met. And so we move our program areas around in order to adapt to the resident, rather than asking our resident to come in and, you know, you need to fit into our program. So it's an adaptable program is what we are.
What makes us different is that we focus on the individual, and we also focus on their issues that they're dealing with, and we find ways to address those issues specifically in working with their needs from a self perspective, but also from a community-based perspective. And how we've done that is we've decolonized our relationship to governance. We've created a space where we use natural law, and we use the space around going to ceremony. So land-based learning, land-based teaching, land-based healing. And as part of that healing journey, we try to incorporate as much as our ceremony in the relationship to healing that helps the needs of that person, that individual within the structure, but also when they get out in the community, there's that bridge to them that we facilitate where we never ever kind of lose contact. We always have that facilitation of relationship on a go-forward basis.
What makes NiGiNan different is the cultural aspect. So I never grew up with my culture. I was a product of, intergenerational trauma. My grandparents were in residential school. So for me, I never grew up with my culture. So having the cultural support has been really nice because it's reconnected me, to my heritage, and it's been nice to, go to a ceremony, go to sweat, go medicine picking. It's been really nice in that way.
We house the hardest to house, and so there's not too many people that we turn away because we house the hardest to house. So there's some pretty high complex needs that we care for, and it's an honor to be a part of that just because there's no other place like it.
A lot of our residents that come in, they have no trust. They've been failed by the medical system for a long time. Some of our folks don't even see doctors, so we're busy setting them up in that. So we have some enhanced care beds right now that Alberta Health Services have set up a pilot project for us for 6 enhanced care service beds, and we call it the Cam McDonald Wing. And so some of those folks have been in hospital for a long, long time, and there's some challenges because they're quite institutionalized. They don't, they have to get used to our way of leading with love and helping them through some of their challenges. So in that, we do have one young gentleman who is just thriving in that whole environment because for the first time, he's feeling love and care and kindness, and he's got a voice, with a lot of the stuff that we do. He now has control of, who comes and goes and what he, maybe his care plan, he's got to say. So that's really amazing to see.
I think what we do different here is that we really just normalize, what these people are doing and going through on a daily basis. We humanize it, and we don't judge people. We meet them exactly where they're at, and we love them regardless of, what they've done or who they are or where they come from.
When we take people in here, we keep them. We don't send them away. We don't say you can stay overnight and then in the morning you have to go. Here we keep them, and it doesn't matter the situation you're in. Doesn't matter if you're homeless, if you're in active addiction, if you're got a history of mental health issues. It doesn't matter the situation. We take you as you are with what you have with you, right? And that's the big thing, you know. I'm not saying, you know, all organizations, but a lot of organizations in the city, there's parameters before, you know, you can enter their places, you know, like before you can get into there, right? Or else they just kind of like, you know, you can come in for the night and leave in the morning. Whereas here, like, we take you in and we accept you for who you are, and we try and help you with everything. Like, we do everything here.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions by community too of what we do, right? And so just, I think, destigmatizing what we do and inviting people, like, people come to our ceremonies, come to sweat with us, come sit and have pipe with us, and you'll understand the work that we do and the people that we serve, I think, a lot different.
So we are solely focused on culture. So because we're an Indigenous organization, you know, we do ceremonies, we do medicine pickings. We do have some people that are non-Indigenous that do partake in ceremonies and support the culture and come in with morning circles, smudges, and stuff like that.
We're here for the Heart to House. We've got many residents that have come off the streets. We're helping, we guide them. We, like we always say, we lead with love. So we just help them with kindness and stuff. We just make sure they're comfortable. This is our home, so we don't make it that we're strict here. We let them live their lives. Because
we have a wraparound approach, we lead with love and kindness, and we follow the natural laws. Just the way that we approach the houselessness, we help them medically, we help them promote independence, and just the love is there that I feel isn't in every average housing organization. We build those relationships with our clients, and we're like that family that they don't have.
In the past 2 years since I've started, you know, we've seen the growth from, we had 90 some staff when we started, now we have over 300 in all the areas. We have 4 different sites, but we also have a training site, a head office, and 4 PDD care homes. So altogether we have 10 buildings.
Niginan currently consists of 4 locations. The first location to open up was in 2014, right here. This is Ambrose Place, a location consisting of 42 supportive housing units. There's also Umamo Wangogamik with 42 family units, MacArthur Place for high levels of care with 50 units, and Pematsuin with 55 shelter spaces, 54 units, and 6 enhanced care suites. Ambrose Place is the flagship building of NiGiNan Housing Ventures. It is one of the most successful housing programs for Indigenous peoples in Alberta. Ambrose Place is named after Ambrose Daniels, a man who would often let those in need stay with him until he himself was evicted, finding himself on the streets. The love and support shown by Ambrose during this time living houseless and his eventual passing inspired the creation of Ambrose Place.
So we work specifically with people with complex mental health needs, so anywhere from mobility aids to essentially people that have had a hard time getting housing here in the city. We predominantly work with people that are Indigenous, so of course we're looking at people that maybe are needing some help in regards to getting to appointments or just making sure that they have the proper meds, things like that. We also just like to make sure that they're, having some one-on-one bonding, that they're getting time, that they're getting the right things in order for them to excel in their life and have the best quality of life. With PDD, we do a lot more one-on-one, so it's just to go and be able to help them essentially be able to learn how to budget, be able to get those life skills that maybe a little bit more complex. And of course, working with people that have, being trauma informed, essentially making their days better, making them be able to just be who they are and, showing them some empathy and maybe taking a different look at an approach at how they feel and what they're going through.
Just the way that we approach the houselessness, we help them medically, we help them promote independence, and just the love is there that I feel isn't in every average housing organization. We build those relationships with our clients, and And we're like that family that they don't have.
In like almost 8 years, I'm working here with those residents. I love working with my residents, and that's like our second family in here.
Umamu Wengogamek, which means all our relations, opened in 2020. It is a family unit which includes young families, Muslims, Kukums, uncles, and aunties. This model has proven effective in helping families to stay together and keeping children out of the child and family services system.
Hi, my name is Danielle Giffen. I'm an independent living support worker here at Umamu Wengogamek, and I have been here for just about a year and a half now. This is our independent supported living site. So if you think about NiGiNan, what we do, we house the hardest to house, people who are dealing with complex needs. And a big part of what we do is trying to give them hope that one day they can have a sense of independence. And this is kind of the next step of that. So we do have people who come from other sites after they've had a bit of time to do some healing. And we also have people who come to us being referred out of treatment, out of corrections. And one of our big focuses here is family reunification. We try to help people get their children back from CS involvements.
Well, I'm Tricia LaRock. I'm from Alexander First Nation, and I've been here going on 3 years. I was doing, I was in the Edmonton's Institution for Women, and I was filling out housing applications, and this was the only application that got accepted. But before I came here, they wanted me to go to treatment, so I did that. And then after that, I got my daughter back. So I've been busy since then, and then I have now a 15-month-old son, and the workers been really good with that too, because they've been there helping me through everything, all the, I don't know, obstacles that I've been through. Yeah, they just help me through that. And when I have a midlife crisis, I go straight to them and they help me with everything. So it's a good community. I like it. Everybody here is good with my kids and I enjoy it. I even grew up in this neighborhood, so it's like being back at home all over again.
My name is Michelle Dahl. I was born and raised in St. Albert. I've had some hard troubles with my past. I came back to Edmonton to start over, and I've moved into this wonderful building, and I've lived here now for a year, last August. It's the best place I've ever been. I never felt more accepted with family and community. Just a wonderful place.
Yeah, I was just going through the internet one day and then I found NiGiNan. And then I emailed and told them my story about what I'm trying to do and that I was homeless and I was living at a homeless shelter downtown for 6 months. And then before I moved into here. My two younger ones have been, like going to stuff with staff and elders, and yeah, I seen a different, like the change within them. Like before they were just like wanting to be rowdy and, go out and do everything. Now they're just, like they're calm. They want to stay home. My daughter just started making bannock this year, and yeah, it's awesome. Oh yeah, and we made star blankets too, and yeah, I'm still working on a couple star blankets, so it's pretty awesome. It keeps me busy, keeps my mindset positive.
Umamu Wengogamek, they actually have a rooftop, and they've been planting tobacco every year. It's really special, and of course, you've probably heard that we do a lot of on-the-land training, and we've been doing some sage picking and some medicines like that. So it's very, very important that we still stay in line with that and be able to offer that to our folks.
It's different because they understand. They don't really judge you. They just understand where you're coming from, and if you're trying to make your life a lot better, they'll stick behind you 100%, like they have with me. and it's been really good. A couple times I asked the workers to watch my babies while I went to the store, because the store's just down the corner here, and then there's other stores on that side, and yeah, they watch my babies. They're really good with them. My daughter calls them all aunties, so they're pretty much family, and I enjoy living here. Yeah, there's sweats and like pipe ceremonies and stuff, and the sweats are with Cookum Rose, and she's really good. She always asks me how I'm doing, and with all the other Cookums too. They always ask me if my kids are okay, and yeah, they're in my life more than my actual family. I have access to elders, ceremonies, sweats. My daughter actually did her first sweat the first year that we moved here, and I didn't think she could do it, but she did it. She did 2 rounds, and it was awesome.
It's just a place where you feel welcome and you feel safe, and anyone you can talk to, and they'll be there for you. It's just a wonderful place to start over, and you get everything, all the tools and everything you need. It's there for you.
My 2 younger ones have been, like going to stuff with staff and elders, and yeah, I seen a different, like the change within them. Like before they were just like wanting to be rowdy and, go out and do everything. Now they're just, like they're calm. They want to stay home.
Because we work a lot with addiction, right? And the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. And that's what people are able to find here. And myself included, like a lot of us who work as staff in Niginan have gone through that ourselves. And myself personally, like I have been on such a healing journey since I came here. It's really just given me the chance to like refocus my priorities and learn like what's really important.
Yeah, everybody's friendly. It's like being like one big family here. That's what I like most about it.
You have to do the walk yourself. They can't push you, even as much as they want to. They can't. If you're not doing it yourself, they won't help you. Workers that try to get in your life, they're actually family trying to figure out if you're really wanting it for yourself.
MacArthur Place was modeled off the success of Ambrose Place. Its opening in 2023 was an important addition to Edmonton's supply of housing and allowed a high level of care to be provided to 50 additional people exiting houselessness.
MacArthur, we are supportive housing, which means that we're housing people permanently here. Everybody here is coming from being on the streets. A lot of people have gone through a lot of trauma in their lifetime. What we try to do is we try to create a safe environment where people have a shelter, essentially a roof over their head, and we offer things like food and programming.
So at MacArthur Place, we house 50 individuals that have complex needs, and they come from all walks of life, and we welcome them that way. They come with addictions, behaviors, personalities, and we welcome them all the same. We treat everybody equally, and we are currently working on the road to recovery for them, specifically at MacArthur Place.
We like to focus on cultural and ceremony because, when you get to that space in your life, it leads you to sobriety. And then sobriety is very, very important, and culture is so important when it comes to sobriety. It helps you on your journey of your path with everything, in every aspect.
I didn't want to come at first. Like I thought they were just sending me away from the other place. Like, I was kind of like a burden, but not. And then, so when they brought me here, they made me feel welcomed and comfortable and comfortable, and took care of my needs basically. I know that they're not, to make it happen for us, we have to, okay, if we're going to do it, okay, we set this in a certain direction, and it's up to us to make it happen. These places are trying to provide a different motive for them to, change direction, or no, let them know that somebody actually cares. Somebody is actually trying to, help them, and but they got to help themselves too. It's not just a place to abuse and take advantage of. My addictions actually started when I was 6, and it was my parents that actually started me on weed, and then I was abused, watched my mom get abused in a different sense, and I became a protector. So they would have my aunties, my mom were getting beat, they would holler at me, but they would also send me to school getting high. They would buy me what do you call it, guilt gifts, so all throughout my years, yeah, they were guilt gifts, but they also maybe got me to develop a addictive personality, because I've never had the support of okay, sure, I went to go, I tried, and now you're gonna make me cry, because there wasn't anyone that would come and visit me. There wasn't anyone that would come to pick me up. I'd have to find, get my own way back, and it hurt, And even now, like, I just got out of treatment, and I still haven't gotten a phone call from any of my family to say, it's like, congratulations, like, how are you doing? Are you okay? And, not anyone to ever say, I'm proud of you, And I know that that's a lot of what persons out there, I know that that's a lot what they're going through as well. And then that's why they kind of migrate together, because, like all the how they do that all on the sidewalks or what have you. Because they all need someone as well, To be honest, I didn't know anything about ribbon skirts. I was kind of born more or less, uncultural per se. Here, I didn't know about ribbon skirts. I didn't know about star blankets and the lanyard, mind you, I don't have mine on right now, but, earrings, stuff like that, like really traditional. And there are different staff members that are actually help with that. So this is what I would say Deborah helped me make. And with Reggie and Lyle, I'm doing an Oilers star blanket.
Yeah, we do that too. We make ribbon skirts, we make ribbon shirts, star blankets. Yeah, we try to do as much as we can with our residents. So, then when we do go to the powwows, they can wear what they made. And they're proud of it. And we're proud of them for making it.
These are certain things that that are helping and bringing happiness back from your youth, and not, leveling on city life and addictions and loneliness and loss of families. It's a family itself.
It's clean. The staff are there for you all the time. No matter what time it is, they're there for you. And I don't know, I met a lot of friends here. I feel really comfortable here because of they're my buddies, and we help each other out going through hardships.
In 2023, Niginan had the opportunity to renovate the old Sands Hotel into a 3-story facility, Pimatsuin, which means life. The project proved to be a challenge from early on, but as 2023 came to a close, residents began to move in and get settled in their new homes. They recently finished the extensive renovations, and the location includes recreational and social areas for resident use, and a beautifully designed ceremony room. And behind me, they're building even more units.
Hi, my name is Bailey Campbell. I am 24 years old and I am from Duck Bay, Manitoba. I am an Anishinaabe or Ojibwe and I work at Pamatswin with NiGiNan.
My name is Ashley Belrose. I am from Saddle Lake First Nation. I am a wellness coordinator here at Pamatswin. And that just entails doing all the fun stuff with our peeps here. So I get to do activities with people, I get to do a lot of outings, and just basically cater to people's like cultural needs and anything else that they really need for wellness.
Shelter, like we provide housing, funding, we take care of all their medical needs. You know, if they want to see psychologists, psychiatrists, we take care of that. And then on top of everything else, you know, it's an Indigenous-based company. So there's all that cultural aspect that we provide for them too. And if that, like whatever they want to learn, there's, you know, they have sweats and sun dances, all that kind of thing, right? And all that is kind of the basis of how we, you know, help the residents and show them a different path, right? And if that's not your thing, that's okay too, right?
My position is PDD. So I work with people with developmental disabilities on site. Our caseload is pretty small at the moment, but me and the rest of our PDD team here at Pamatswin oversee our caseload of residents. And basically what we do is we offer support and engagement to those residents that have those developmental disabilities, and we're able to meet them where they're at, more specified, I guess, on a more personal level, where we're able to connect with them daily.
What does recovery look like for NiGiNan? Because what recovery looks like for NiGiNan is very different from other agencies and other terms. And that is a part of our Indigenous-led recovery model. So I think it's really exciting to share that and really look at what does recovery mean for our folks and the folks that are experiencing being unhoused for over 10 years or 6 years or 5 years. What does that look like, and how do we celebrate those recoveries and really individualize their goals?
There's been a few clients we had. He came from, when he first came to us, he was, you know, really into addictions and a heavy drinker. Now he's a total different person. He's sober, he's clean, and I love to see that.
I had a promise said to me a long time ago that, you know, that my life would be used to do something good. Let's just put it to something good, and that it would reach a lot of people. So I'm already starting to see that, right? And through this organization, and I can't emphasize how great it is here for people who are in that need, because we, you know, the basis of who we are is that we love on people and we care about them, and I can't emphasize enough that it's just, you know, it doesn't matter who you are, what you've done, where you came from, we're still going to try and help you the best we can.
When I started PDD, I was working outside of the other homes as well, but I came back here because here is kind of like my own home too. I couldn't stand being off of this location for too long. I asked my supervisors to bring me back and to work here permanently, or primarily, I guess, just because the residents here, all my coworkers here, my family here is amazing. So I always wanted to be back.
That's, I think, what sets us apart. And we don't like to treat our site as an institution. This is their home, and we're coming into their home, right? So we have to have that respect for people, and that goes a long way. That and love, it goes a long way.
We keep you until we basically house you, basically, right? If you don't want to, you know, stay within our organization, we can help you go through, get into somewhere else. Like I know of residents who came in and decided to go on their own. We've helped them with that. You know, if you want to go into treatment or detox, we help with that, like anything, everything.
So usually, like, we have an application process for the shelter space. And anybody can come in off the street at any time, and we keep the applications right up front. And then people just have to apply. And basically, like as of right now, there is a very long wait list, but we make special exceptions in some cases. And then we just basically, how it works is we go down the list of people, and then if they leave contact information, we can get a hold of them. And if there's a bed that opens up, we try to get them in as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we see results here, yeah. And like, you know, some of the people, like I said, we have people who are still in active addiction. And, you know, but at least they're not on the street, you know what I mean? Like, and I remember when I was in addiction and I seen so many people who were just literally dying on the street, you know, and it was sad, you know. And the one big thing I can remember when I was homeless and when I was on the street was just feeling like I was never ever going to get out of my addiction. I just accepted it, you know. And you know, you have a lot of people come in here with despair and they're just lost, you know what I mean? And a lot of them takes time to, you know, but you'll see them slowly open up. And we take pride in the little things, you know, like the one guy comes in here, he never smiled once, and then the other day he smiled. You know, we've seen another guy engaging in our extracurricular activities. You know, he was painting the other day. Another person, you know, comes and sits at the front and hangs out, and she was quiet as a mouse when she came in, you know. And just those smiles and those little things that you see within our residences, it's so huge. You have no idea how huge it is, because these people have not smiled. They don't know happiness and joy and comfort and security and all those things, right? And when they come here, they receive all that, and it's overwhelming for them at first, but then they learn to open up and trust us and to realize that it's okay to be who they are, who they really are here, right? So yeah.
And they have so much support here as well, like so many different aspects of support that they need that a lot of people don't get in other facilities.
There's always something new every day, something, you know, you learn from them as much as they learn from you and their journeys and, you know, my own journey, because at one point in time I faced homelessness and addictions, and, you know, at one point in time, you know, I had, you know, no hope, like no outlook 5 years from now. And so to see them and, you know, they're able to hear my story and they see that I, you know, understand them. And so it's more like inspiration for one another.
It's the feeling. You can't explain the feeling that it gives you. I don't know how to explain that or put it into words, but I love it. I feel content when I'm having meaningful conversations with the residents. You know, I come in a building and somebody's excited to see me, or, you know, I missed you. How are your kids?
We've had CEOs come from all over the world to tour this building, particularly Pimatuan, and they have said it doesn't feel like a shelter. I'm like, great, that's perfect, right? We want that.
I haven't lived in Sad Lake for 30, 40 years, so I've been in the city most of my life. I went through hard times like most people here. Got into the hard drugs for a while. I was able to get rid of, you know, not do it anymore. So, yeah. And this place has helped me out a lot by, you know, it's kept me grounded. Actually, I didn't have any IDs in that for a long time, and they helped me get all my ID. Yeah, very important to have the support. Otherwise, I couldn't really do it. It was when it was just me. It was lonely, right? Like I lost all my friends and that. And I was one November night when I quit doing the crack stuff. I was under the low-level bridge. I threw my crack pipe into the river. I said, "That's it. I don't want it." I was alone, right? I was cold. Didn't know where to go. Well, I knew where to go, but I didn't really want to go there. And that was to the hostel. Yeah. And hostel, you pretty well have to leave in the mornings, and they don't really care for you. Like they don't show the care and support like they do here. Yeah, a hostel is good for a meal, for the night to sleep in. But once the morning comes, you're back on the street. And, yeah. Once you get stuck in there, it's pretty hard to get out of it. Yeah. There's a difference. The difference being that here they give you personal support, and which you don't get at a hostel. You get to know your workers and that, and they truly help you out. Like they truly help you out, and they truly care. That's all I can say. Yeah. They care for you. There's a lot of care. 5 years, I hope to be probably in my own place somewhere. Yeah. But that's a long ways yet. You know, yeah. Really, they're getting people off the streets, and that's the main thing. Like we all have a place here to hang out, and instead of going out here, there, getting into trouble, we are watched over here. So well, I've seen a lot of changes. I've yeah, there's a lot of people have been helped. Like I heard about this. I heard about this program, and I came to check it out. And yeah, they put me up where same night I didn't have nothing, no ID, no nothing. They put me up in one of the rooms, and I was here since. Yeah. I love this program. It's helped me, and it's helped a few others. Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah. There's 100 people here, whatever, 50, 60, and they're off the street. Yeah, we go on outings. We go on outings. Yeah. We went to Fort Edmonton a couple of weeks ago. That was great. Yeah. I try and get involved with some of the activities here, but I'm still at heart a loner. Like Mustard Seed Wellness Center is where I go for counseling now. Or if I need to talk to someone, there's always someone here to talk to. So, a few low points. Like I said, I was very suicidal at one time, and now I'm getting out of that. So, well, oh yeah, I have my own room. That's awesome. Like something that I didn't think I'd have a couple years ago. Like, yeah, it's comfortable. It's home, right? It's home. I try to do writing. I'm writing about my life for my daughter, so I'm writing a book.
I love how it's family-based, like when your peers become family at a certain point. Niginan helped me as a First Nations individual have access to housing, not having to sleep on the streets, and it is someplace you want to be.
Got out of foster care when I was 18 and been on the streets for a little bit and found this place, and the staff here is really good here because they take care of you. They really actually care about you, and they help you with housing if you need housing, if you want to live on your own someday. And there's also cultural stuff here. There's smudge in the morning. There's every Friday morning. They take you out for sweats. And for little events, they have bingo, arts and crafts, and other things. If I saw somebody on the street, I will recommend this place because this place got me out of a deep spot. Like, I didn't know what to do when I was on the streets. Like, I was lost. Now they helped me find a way. I have good friends here, and everyone's helping each other, and we're here together in community. The staff is like really good. They support you like 100%. If you're feeling down or like if you're angry, you could always go up to them. They always have your back. You feel safe here. If somebody comes and you don't feel safe here, they help you with that.
So we've had a few residents that have since moved here, gotten into their own housing. We do have a housing team that works with our people here, and they work very hard to get people housed, whether it's in our PSH building or whether it's housed out in the community.
We've actually had a number of people that have been previous residents or now staff members. We definitely provide an environment that is safer and is a much more humane environment, and something that we do ongoing is we look for ways that folks that are staying with us, what do you like to do? Do you want to paint? Do you want to sew? Do you want to cook? Do you want to work with our maintenance team? Do you want to come out to the land and chop wood with us? Like anything that our residents want to do in order to reconnect with their self, with, what they were like in their, pre-unhoused days, we'll find that for them.
This is a mural project that we're doing in collaboration with NiGiNan Housing. I initially met Arsan during some beading sessions that I was running at Ambrose Place. And so he approached me. He had seen some of my work in the past, and he asked me to paint a mural at Pimetswin. And so I linked up with Matthew Cardinal here. I asked him to come and help me with the project. So Matthew and I started the project about a month ago, and we started in ceremony. We had an elder come and we had a ceremony and kind of said some prayers for the piece, and then sat down with the residents, and we had some discussions with the residents and visioning sessions. So this is the 4th session we've had so far. We started painting last week, and yeah, it's been great. There's been some amazing ideas and just contributions from the residents. They all sat down and drew with us and painted on paper initially, and we kind of brought all the ideas together, and now we're putting it in motion on the walls.
NiGiNan leads with love.
NiGiNan Housing Ventures leads with love. And as an Indigenous-led agency, for me, when we're providing this programming and the services that we provide to our residents, we're looking at it like our family. Like, people who live with us are my family.
Just building those relationships with them goes a long ways, and just knowing that they have somebody there that loves and supports them makes all the difference. But it's just like a lot of these people have been homeless for 20 plus years, you know, and it's like they're not used to the stability and the routine and the little bit of rules that we have, because you need rules. It's hard for them to adjust at first. A lot of times they will go out and they'll sleep in the community for a few days because that's what they're used to, right? But then the longer they're here, then the more they get used to it, and then it's home.
We just don't preach on them or anything. We just tell them, you're gonna have a good day. You gotta believe you're gonna have a good day no matter what. They're like, oh really? It's like, wow, okay. And it makes a big difference in their lives.
We have one gentleman who was told in his 50s that he was loved by one of our staff for the very first time. And he denied it. You know, he said, no, you don't. And the staff said, yes, we do love you. And he says, nobody's ever told me that. And like, that is just heartbreaking, right? When you think about that. And, you know, but that's what our staff is all about, you know, and it's not just lip service, you know, where we really get them to know our whole program is about relationship building. It's all about relations and connection, you know, because we all need to connect to something.
I love all the residents the same, and I enjoy working with them and helping them, meeting them where they're at always. You know, you never judge them when they come in the door. You welcome them and you show them love, kindness, and you always meet them where they're at.
I think a lot of the things that like a lot of the folks that have come through our organization that are no longer physically here with us, like that's a huge thing too, because they were able to come and pass with people loving them, and their family come after the fact and they're saying, oh, I didn't know that they lived here. And it's kind of like, well, we've been loving them for the last 5 years. And it's such a huge moment between staff and the family, in a sense of like, they're thanking us for taking care of their loved ones. And it's just like, no, like we love them. Like, what do you mean they're our loved ones? So it's kind of like that dynamic back and forth. Like, we had a resident pass kind of recently, and I had a video of him playing the guitar, and he was very estranged from his children, but his children came to his service that we held on site, and they were so shocked that they had so much people around them that cared for them and supported them. And it's just like, we thought that they were, you know, like not doing too well on the street and this and that. And it's just like, no, like they've been living here for a long time. Like, and then I got to show him some of the videos of his dad singing, and he, like, I don't know if he's seen that for a long time, but it was like a moment almost that he needed to kind of close that chapter with his dad. So like the family reunification, that's like a huge thing for me within this organization.
It's having my own place, but still having, you know, the care, the love, you know, everything. Well, to be honest, I've actually recommended this place to a lot of people, And I said, like, you could be yourself. There's a lot of good people here. The staff is really, really awesome. Like, they're reliable.
People are fantastic. The workers are, like I said, they become your family too as well. So it's the way you want to live it.
Clearly, the model Niginan has created is working, but is it cost effective?
It seems like building residence for people that live on the street is a waste of money, a waste of time, a waste of energy. But in actuality, when we build specifically built for purpose housing such as this, we make an incredible change to how much money is being dumped out in the infrastructure that's been caused by the effects of houselessness. And so when you're able to house somebody and get them into a routine and fill their stomachs full of nutritious food and give them options on what they can do for the day, things start to change in their life and they start to make really positive choices in how they're going to walk the road that day.
We always say, NiGiNan Housing Ventures is a housing solution, and we do things in a really meaningful, thoughtful, kind way. And people that are out on the street are much more a burden on taxpayers than those that are housed. So someone who is living in an encampment, there will be more calls to EPS, to the ambulance, to acute care in the hospital, emergency room visits, and it's much more a strain on the taxpayer than providing them with that support and care and ongoing housing for them. It's a lot more. It just makes way more sense.
And it's better for the community as well. It actually works for everybody. People just need to take a look and see that we're not just helping the people here, we're also helping the community at large.
I know what we're doing is making such a difference, not only in their lives, but just in our city. You know what I mean? And what we're doing has a purpose. So a lot of our guys were on that list. So they were classified as being a heavy user of the systems. And that costs like millions and millions of dollars every year. And as we house them, those costs have gone down drastically because they haven't needed to access them because we are here for the wraparound approach that we do.
There have been studies done where they were showing that there's significant cost decreases with our folks going into emergency, not having to access some of those services. And plus, again, with these enhanced care beds, a lot of these folks who have very complex issues are now not taking up hospital beds.
We also recognize that a lot of our folks fall through systems and gaps in the system. They have a lot of trauma, attending the emergency room, attending hospitals, interactions with EPS. And so NiGiNan's intention and the whole purpose of our agency is to minimize those calls to service, minimize a lot of those traumas. So we bring those services in-house. That means that we have 24/7 staff, we have access to healthcare systems, we have a recreational therapist, an occupational therapist, a social worker, mental health clinician, LPNs, right? I kind of tell the story of this one individual. They came into our shelter, a lot of trauma, massive wound care on their leg. They're about to lose their leg. They were talking about having to amputate it, and they refused to go to hospital. They wouldn't call, they would refuse. We would say, we need to call EMS. They have to come assess this. Say, absolutely not. Our LPN actually started coming in and assessing him, and he would lay on the floor of our shelter space. He would be in so much pain, and our LPN would come and start to assess him and start to build a relationship with him. And that is exactly what NiGiNan does. We start to build a relationship around those traumas, around those systems, and bring them in-house as much as possible.
There was a study done in 2018, and what they did is they looked at people who were living at Ambrose Place. How much did they cost the taxpayers in 2017 and a year before they lived at Ambrose Place? And then what did they cost taxpayers when they were living in Ambrose Place?
Not everyone, but a lot have chronic disease. So getting that medication management is really huge in improving health outcomes. And, you know, the team really works hard on even just getting some of those medications that they often didn't take on a regular basis. It's really improving their health overall.
You know, we talk about harm reduction, we talk about recovery, and something that we've been focusing on and going into the new year, 2026, is our Indigenous-led recovery model. What we find is when we talk about harm reduction or we talk about recovery, a lot of times the pendulum swings too far. And we really want to highlight that Niginan meets people where they're at, but we don't want to keep them there. We want to have that connection. We want to have that sense of purpose. We want to have that community, that family reunification that happens within our spaces. So we've noticed a drastic difference. I actually just had a meeting with one of the EPS officers that's designated for the Pimatuan site. And she's going to share some numbers. She actually has percentages, but she said the calls to service, EMS responding, EPS responding has decreased drastically even since last summer. And that is huge.
We provide them with a forever home, you know, and the shelter is when, you know, they're not visiting, but, you know, they're that guest that's you intend on staying, and hopefully they'll move in with you at some point. And you know, we get our folks that come in, and hopefully they'll move on at some point. Our residents will either move on at some point to something better is our wish and desire, and sometimes this is their last home. And again, one of the things that struck me really clearly when I started was it becomes their last home until they pass. You know, that's one of the, I don't know, we talk about it enough because it's a Maudlin thing, but is a lot of, we have residents that come here, they come here to pass away. They come here to pass away at home. That's one of those things that, you know, you don't want to think about, but it's like, we get folks that are we're able to provide them a comfortable place and with people that love them and for their journey. So,
like, it's one of the most beautiful things that you see. We had a resident who was palliative and they were living at Ambrose Place, and they made the decision, like, I want to stay palliative. I want to be in my home. I want to be surrounded by the people that I know and that have cared for me over the past 10 years. And it was beautiful in a sense, and it was emotional for staff, but I think it, I think it was so beautiful that they had autonomy to choose. They had autonomy to choose not to be in hospital alone by themselves and be surrounded by people that love them and be surrounded by ceremony and culture and just passing in a really beautiful way. A pilot project that's happening at one of our sites here at Pimatuan, and there's 6 suites, and they're through Recovery Alberta. And they're serving individuals who have been in acute care for years. We had 2 individuals move in, and they had been in hospital for over 6 years in acute care. And so Niginan, unfortunately, is needed to fill those services and those gaps in services.
Culture is very important to the Niginan model.
Like with some of our residents, they do have trauma. Like they've had the residential school backgrounds, their families were involved, and they lost their culture. So with our cultural team and ourselves, we try to bring that to them so they can relearn what they lost.
Reconnecting people to the culture to us is so essential. And a lot of times people who come to us, you know, and they're in a very, you know, addicted state, and they, you know, really struggle with that connection with other people. And you know, we always say, you know, you can come to sweat with us, you know, you can come and observe, or you can come and watch. And people have over and over again told us that that really was like a pathway back to finding themselves again, is through that connection to their culture.
What we have is a ceremonial room. And so we have a place where these individuals can feel safe, they can feel connected, and they can feel a place where they can be open and not disparaged or looked down upon, but they feel connected back into their community, into their culture, into that spiritual component of it, which we as, you know, Indigenous people, that's who we are. You know, we're connected spiritually. And so when we have these ceremonial rooms in each of these facilities, they feel that connection because that becomes their nucleus of that relationship with themselves, with fellow residents, but also with the staff and back into the community. And so it's always that place of home that they can feel comfortable, familiar, and feel safe, which is so important.
We've definitely been able to bring people back to ceremony who hadn't been involved in their culture in a while, and some people who they never got those opportunities, partially because they've grown up in the foster care system, or they're part of the 60s scoop, or residential school survivors, right? So taking people out to sun dances, round dances, even things like powwows, or even little markets, stuff like that. It gives people a chance to sort of reconnect.
Our goal is to bring the culture back to our people, because a lot of them were stripped from it. It was taken away from them. Their culture, their identity, everything was taken from them. So our hope is to bring the culture back to our people by doing on-the-land training, doing sweats, ceremony. We have knowledge keepers and elders and escapioses here at our organization, at all of our sites. They do smudge and prayer in the morning, and then we'll do a morning circle like in our ceremony room.
The tools that we use have always been for us to help ourselves. We can heal ourselves even without those tools, because there's many different ways to heal ourselves. The pipe ceremony is one of them, and it is meaningful, but we don't even need the physical pipe to do it, because there's a pipe in the stars. And if you know where it is and you know what it's about, then you know how to use it.
I like going to the sharing circles. They help me make a ribbon dress. They're helping me do a star blanket.
A cultural team intertwined with it, and because I'm very spiritual myself, so that's why you catch me going on about the cultural part. And yeah, it's just really, it's somewhere to be better than being out on the streets.
I haven't been growing up with cultural stuff, but living here, I've been learning more about my cultural, and more smudging and trying to go to sweats there and there.
The importance of culture would be to give back what was taken from us prior would be our parents and grandparents. Everything that was taken away from us a long time ago in the residential schools, we're giving that back to each individual, whether that's our staff members or the residents that we serve. And giving the culture back slowly gives them a different outlook and a better perspective on life.
Where is that place in recovery where people fit, where it's not, you have to be sober to have access to housing, you have to go to treatment, you have to go detox? How can we be creative? Like sometimes detoxing can be going to ceremony and being on land. Our folks know that we have ceremony every Friday, so they know for that day, they're not using, and that might be their detox. So how can we look at things in a non-colonial sense, decolonize treatment and detox and recovery, and really just reconnect people? It's that connection. As somebody who has that lived experience of substance use and like being unhoused, my connection and my purpose was something that was huge for my turning point. And it took somebody really just inviting me to sit and drum. And then there was something inside of me that was just like, oh my God, this is what's missing. This is a part of me that's been missing for so long.
I'm an escapios here, a cultural helper here at NiGiNan Housing, and I really love this job. It's very humbling. Through culture, we help them understand. We smudge, we have sage, we have sweetgrass. Sage takes the negative energy away, sweetgrass replaces the positive energy. Then there's fungus, which is very powerful, takes negative energy away. And we teach them things like that. And usually they have their own sage that they go pick out in the field, like a couple blocks from here. And they do that. And sometimes I talk Cree to them, like, come on in, it's good to be here, you know. I say like, come on in, Pitagua, miasenoma, it's good to be here. And it's just their way of saying, oh, okay. Then they know it's real when I talk Cree to them. So that's how culture works hand in hand with us. And a lot of them don't have culture, so we teach them a little by little. what culture is about. You know, keep your hair long. Try to learn a native language Cree word one by one, and everything makes a difference, you know.
Niginan remains committed to their mission and to their continuous improvement of their services.
So pennies in a cup is just when you see somebody and you stop and you say, hey, how's your day going? Or you ask them just anything, you just have a little bit of a conversation with them, you're putting pennies in a cup. Those times when they really struggle, when they need to be de-escalated, when they're having some of those real challenges in life, they're going to remember you, right? And it's going to be into your benefit. They're not going to remember the person that doesn't stop and talk to them and acknowledge that they're human and that they need some dignity and some care and some love, but they are going to remember you. Maybe not right in that escalated, but they will, you know. So if we could just continue to coach our staff to do that, that's all on the relationship building piece, and it works. I've seen it work.
One word I can describe for it is home. It's home for a lot of people, and even for coworkers, like, because honestly I come here and this is my second home. I can come here and, you know, I spend half of my time here, half of my time at home. So honestly, my one word for this place is home. We can all relate to it.
It's just working together, and that's what I feel about all the buildings and all the places, you know, and what's best and what's going to work and what's not going to work, and collaborate and put it together.
It's very safe, yeah. Yeah, it's comfortable. It's home, right? It's home.
It's not residents and staff, it's residents and staff. We're equal. We're not higher, lower, you know, we just want them to know that we're the same. So I share openly and honestly about how my days are going in Circle, even if the residents are there, just because we're family kind of thing, you know. I'm not on a pedestal because I work here, if that makes sense. What I went through in my past has got me where I'm at today, and there's a purpose, and now I'm able to give back and support all of our guys here.
And I think that kind of is one of the things that really sets us apart from other organizations, is like we're able to love our people and like mean it wholeheartedly. So yeah, there's like so many stories over the last 11 years. I should probably write a book. Some are funny, some are sad, some are hard, but all of it was so worth it to see people just living life as they should, you know, not struggling, not asking for basic needs. It's an amazing organization, and I think that if we stay grounded in who we are and what we do and the type of community that we come from, that we're all after the same goal, we're all working towards the same idea, and we all just want people to be happy and healthy and safe and cared for and ultimately loved.
Something like this, I feel like I'm making a difference in people's lives. I feel like we're saving lives. You know, that's, yeah, it's, I can honestly get up in the morning, go to work and feel like, you know, I'm doing something good.
What I'm really, really proud about is that we're an Indigenous-led organization. We've gone back to natural law. We've gone back to ceremony. We've decolonized our relationship of governance and how we facilitate ourselves within this system of, you know, municipal, provincial, federal government systems. We've embraced communities, working with other communities by extending what we do here in Edmonton into other communities. And so we're not just here in Edmonton, we're like in Wood Buffalo. We're being looked at in other communities across Western Canada as a model to emulate. And so when you talk about, you know, the cap, the ceiling, I think it's just the beginning. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg of what Niginan represents and the impacts it'll have in the community today, tomorrow, and into the future.
NiGiNan Housing Ventures, leading with love. They don't just provide a roof, they provide a home. If you know someone in need, would like to volunteer, donate, or even work within this field, please contact us at info@Niginan.ca.
I had a promise said to me a long time ago that my life would be used to do something good. Coming here, like I just enjoy seeing, people loving on people. That's my favorite part about it, yeah.